Welcome to Omhint. My name is Vino Nityananda.
And my name is Pandit Jagannath Cassidy.
So Pandit, you have so much knowledge about tarot, you know?
Right.
And particularly I noticed that you're very intuitive in your approach to tarot. Can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, no, I would love to. It's a very important thing, the intuitive self, to grow that. You know, there's a lot of people. The one thing that people have to understand is that any form of divination, which is basically using the divine energy to see into the future or to have some kind of message, it has to reflect reality. Reality doesn't shift
Right.
to the divination's decree.
Right.
The divination has to reflect reality.
Right.
So it's very important. You have to learn the subtle nuances
I see.
of a subject, especially one that has to deal with something like the tarot cards or astrology or something like that. I use both. I use many different methods of divination, you know.
Yes, I've noticed, because you also do readings from Mahabharata and Ramayana and speak, and you give answers based on those types of things.
Yeah.
Very good.
So it's all kind of interconnected if you know the subtleties and the flow and what everything, the symbology, and
Right.
I plan on, you know, getting more into that kind of thing.
Wonderful.
I actually have talking about tarot, I actually have a book that I'm working on. It's almost done.
Wow.
And it's just about the tarot cards and how to learn how to read them.
Wonderful.
And, you know, because, you know, it's very important for the individual person to know the meanings for them.
Right.
A lot of people, you know, they pull a card and they say, oh, this means this. It means what it means to you. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
One thing that's really important, there's a few tips I'm going to get into, but one thing that I'm going to talk about that's really important is for you to learn the meanings. So what I usually tell people is that they need to draw 3 cards every day.
I see.
And look at the cards, ask the cards what's going to happen today, and draw 3 cards, and do that for like 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
And what they're going to notice is the card, and then go about their day, write the cards down or keep them aside. At the end of the day, look at what happened in your life and look at what the card said was going to happen.
Okay.
You're going to start to see the correlations.
Oh, wow.
You're going to say, oh, my day, this thing happened. And then you're going to see, you know, 2 or 3 days out of that time period, this thing happens, and 2 or 3 days, this card comes. So then you know what that means.
Yeah.
Because it has to reflect reality.
Right.
And there's a symbology. All cards are different, but all cards are the same.
Right.
There's a symbology that's built into them.
Right.
And when you start to learn the symbology when you do that. They're talking to you. As far as the way that I do this is also maybe different than some tarot people. I'm not exactly certain. I kind of started doing this from my intuition. I did this from past lives, kind of.
Oh, wow.
It's just something I started doing it and it just clicked, and then I started being able to do it for other people. Because it just kind of came to me, like fully grown.
Right.
But the way that I do it is I realize that I'm talking with God, you know, and I ask him, what's the message that I'm supposed to speak?
Yes.
That's the way that I approach with these cards. And I just see myself as channeling. You know what I mean? It's a good session, and this happens. It's a good session if I don't say anything.
Right.
It's something else. It's literally Ganesh or Krishna, I don't know who, they come inside me and they do the talking. And, you know, it's a good session when that's 100%.
Right.
Sometimes it's 90, sometimes it's 80. Sometimes you draw the cards, and I just have to tell people, you know, God doesn't really, can't really tell you right now because this is something you have to figure out on your own. I'm really sorry. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people are in that situation that they have to, there's a lesson that they have to learn, and know if the guidance comes, it's going to interfere with their decision, and the decision's not supposed to be interfered with.
I see, yes.
They're supposed to come up with this decision on their own.
There's free will also.
There's free will also, and that's the thing. If it wasn't real, then it would tell you to do something.
That's right.
But if it's real, there is such a thing as free will. And sometimes God is like, well, I'm sorry, but you have to make a free will decision on this. I can't tell you what to do.
Exactly.
It comes out like that.
Yeah.
And that comes occasionally.
Wow.
It's not all the time, but a lot of times. I mean,
right.
It's a good 10%. I'll just have to tell them,
At
I'm
other
sorry.
times, the guidance is there.
Yeah.
And at times, the guidance is not given because of the fact that the person needs to make a choice. And the choice can go a number of ways. And that the Lord would prefer that the choice be made by that person so they know it was their choice. It wasn't like they were forced into any particular direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Good.
And you know, the other thing is when you're doing cards, you got to understand that you got to show them respect.
Meaning, show who respect?
The cards.
Oh, there are cards, yes.
Some people just throw them on a table and baby comes up and chews on it. Or I've seen it. Or they put them somewhere and spill food over it and all kinds of stuff. And it's like, then the cards, they misbehave, let me tell you.
Right.
You do that, it's all misbehave.
Right.
They don't like that.
Right.
Then another thing is that it's very interesting, but decks have individual personalities. It's
Each deck has an individual personality.
It's the weirdest thing, but it's true.
Okay.
I have several decks, and I've never actually bought a tarot deck.
Really?
Yes.
How did you come across the decks?
People would give them to me.
Oh, wow.
The first deck I ever got was given by a very close friend. And then after that, people would just... at one point I had 7.
Wow. So they just come to you?
They come because it means they want to be used.
Right.
I mean, if someone's really interested, they should buy or something.
Of course.
The thing is that if you're meant to do it, they'll just come because they want to be. They want you to be the instrument.
You may also sometimes direct people to get a set, right?
Yeah.
So that's also ordained in a sense because you asked them to do it. They got it only because you asked them to do it. Or you may even pick one out and give it to them and say, here.
Yeah. No, that's a thing. That is a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But especially when the cards come to you, you should use them because they want you to be their voice.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But some decks, they want to do just love questions. That's all they care about. You ask them business question, they don't even give a good answer.
Really?
Yeah. Other deck is opposite. Yeah. They're like, this is lovey-dovey stuff. I don't want to hear this.
Just like people. The different types of people. The different types of decks. Even though it's the same thing in terms of copies. But each of them has a character of their own.
Right. Yeah, they all have a character of their own, and they'll give you different answers for different approaches. Yeah.
That's very good.
So another tip that I can give people is be as specific as possible.
In your question, or whatever you're asking for.
Yeah, be as specific and ask a good question.
Right.
Now I lived in a temple one time, and I was the cook, right? So people would come and ask, is there breakfast today? That wasn't their question.
Right.
It's breakfast every day.
Yes.
The question that they really wanted to know is what's for breakfast?
What's for breakfast today?
or when, more specifically, when's it going to be on the table? I'm hungry.
Exactly.
But they said it in this kind of generic way.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that with the cards because the only thing that they are going to answer if you say, is there breakfast today, is yes.
Yes. Then what?
That's not the answer you want.
Yeah. Will I be rich?
Yeah, that's a very dumb question.
What does rich mean?
Yeah, right?
For some people, rich is earning $5,000 a month, and for some, it's like $5 million.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a very generic question, and that's not going to get a good answer.
Right.
You have to be as specific as you possibly can in the right and format your questions properly.
Right.
You're going to get bad answers or answers you don't want.
Right.
So it's good to weed out there's no such thing as a dumb question, but except in tarot cards. Well, you get the question, you get the answer for your question.
It's the quality of the question. Yeah. If the quality of the question is low, the quality of the answer is the same.
Yeah.
Right.
That's another thing. Okay, so the other thing is when people ask questions for tarot cards, or especially when you do tarot cards, you should tell them this. Try and be as closely knit into the situation as possible.
What does that mean?
What that means is, I swear to God, every year I get somebody ask me who's going to become the president, or something like that.
Who's going to be the next president? of the United States of America?
Yeah. You don't ask the tarot cards that. Unless you're the campaign manager or something like that.
Yeah.
If Tulsi Gabbard was to come here right now and ask, I could say I could do that.
Yes, because she actually has a real interest in it.
Yeah.
Or whoever's running for president has a real interest in it. The others are just, it's a casual interest.
Yeah.
So you'll get a casual answer as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And the casual answer may be, why should I tell you anything anyway?
Exactly. You get a bunch of swords and all these like cards that are nonsense cards, and it's basically like, who are you?
Yeah. Stop fooling with me. Yeah, exactly.
So try and be one time someone said, are space aliens real?
Okay.
So this is the kind of,
That's a question I can answer without a tarot card.
Yeah. But those are the questions you want to stay away from.
Right.
Like be closely related to the situation.
Right.
That's something.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised. So I have to say that,
No,
right?
That's true.
So okay. So here's some basic principles that are just. This applies for life in general, and this is what, as a reader, you have to know. Okay, these are the noble truths. Okay, I call these the noble truths. Okay,
yes.
Things are not complicated. We make them complicated. Okay, people in situations in life, if you actually are detached enough and you step outside, you see that things aren't complicated. The world is working as it's going to work. We complicate matters with our mental hankering and aversions and all this stuff. It really complicates things, but the world itself on a very high level is doing as it's supposed to.
Right. It's very natural.
It's very natural.
Yes.
It's going to do what it's going to do. This is why idealism, people want the world to be a certain way.
Right.
And when it doesn't act that way, they become depressed, they become morose, they become angry, they become so many different things.
Right.
The world doesn't give two hoots what you feel.
Exactly. It's going to do what it's going to do anyway.
It's going to do what it's going to do anyway.
And it reciprocates. In a way,
it reciprocates. But the thing is that if it's going to progress is how it's going to progress.
Because it has a higher purpose. It knows things at a better level.
Yeah.
So if the kid's going to play up, the parent doesn't have to then become a kid as well to deal with the situation. The parent may mimic the kid so that the kid understands that we're on the same level now and we can communicate. But the parent always comes from a higher understanding of things, and therefore the child gets the benefit of the great experience.
So you got to understand that a lot of times when the tarot cards are talking, they're coming from a very high perspective.
Right.
And it's good information if you mature enough to receive it from that level. But sometimes people are so desperate. I had one person that come to me 30 times in a row.
30 times?
And every time they wanted to know if they was going to marry some girl.
If they were going to marry the same girl?
Yeah.
Same girl.
Same girl.
And they asked
every time.
30 times.
30 times they asked the question, because 30 times it said, not really.
Not really. And they wanted to hear really. They didn't want to hear the not really part of it.
I didn't know what to do.
You have to give them some credit. They're persistent, you know.
What about now?
Yeah.
What about now?
It's changed now? Are we there now?
They're persistent, but that's what you call infatuation.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
So the world isn't complicated. We make things complicated, okay? Things are not actually hard. We make them hard.
Okay.
You know?
They're not difficult, we make them difficult. Okay.
Things are not difficult, we make them difficult. We meddle too much in things. We put our energy, the world, like I said, the world's going to roll. You can ride the wave or you can swim against the tide. It's up to you.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And that's why the astrology and the nature readings, the tarot cards are for.
Yes.
It's telling you which way the waves are turning.
Yes.
And you can surf or you can try and swim out into the middle of the ocean and drown. And it's really up to us.
Yeah, take advantage of the flow of the energy, right? If you go against the energy, it's going to be much harder. It's going to be a lot easier when you're going with the flow.
Yeah.
Sometimes the flow is not going the right way, but then you can redirect it.
Right.
You can there's a way to.
Well, the thing is, sometimes you got to let the wave take you where it's going to take you.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to go to that beach.
Right.
But, you know, maybe there's something on that beach that you're supposed to know.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Things are never going to be perfect, and we can never change that. You know what I mean? In a sense, they're absolutely perfect, but we can't make them the way that we want it to be.
Yeah. We can't give them our idea of perfection.
Yeah.
And say, you change to my idea of perfection.
You try and do that with the world and see what it does.
Yeah.
But after it's done laughing for 20 minutes, see what it says, right?
Yeah. And even perfection, there is such a thing as perfection, but perfection is also getting better all the time also.
Yeah.
Because it's eternal.
Well,
Anything that's eternal is going to become better and better.
The perfection exists, but it's never going to be our perfect scenario.
Yeah, it's not going to be what you decide is going to be perfect.
Right.
And then expect that everybody else in the world is going to wear that because you determine. You're not God, so don't play God.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So, this is number 4. I have the 5 noble truths, right? So there was the things are not complicated, we make them complicated. Things are not hard, we make them hard. Things are not going to be perfect for us, so, you know what I mean? We can't change that. Love is the greatest power. So that's the 4th one.
Love is the greatest power.
Love is the greatest power. Yeah.
No doubt about it.
That is the great. If there's a power out there that can actually change the world, that's the one.
Yeah. I often say that, you know, true love can defeat anything and nothing can defeat true love. So the corollary of that is true love can make something really happen and nothing can stop true love from making it happen.
Love is the greatest power for change in the world.
No doubt.
And then the other thing is that if God wanted you to be any different than what you are right now, He would have made you different.
Yes. Yes.
Because He's all powerful, right? There's so many times actually in the Vedas, I mean in Mahabharata, where Yudhishthira is ashamed for being a Kshatriya, and Bhima says that if Kshatriyas were so evil, then why did the Lord even make them?
Make Kshatriyas.
Yes, exactly.
So actually, in a sense, I mean, saying the same thing, one may feel that I want to be something different. The idea is that one should realize whether it is in my nature to be that or not. But if it is in my nature to be something, then by all means be that person. If I'm not the person I'm supposed to be, then yes, you can change. But if you are the person you're supposed to be, because generally there's a saying in English, you know, you are where you are. It's because you've done certain things in the past, you've got yourself into a certain situation.
Well, yeah, I'm by no means suggesting that people just accept some kind of bad situation that they're in.
They can do something about it. But the idea is try to understand that where we are now is the sum total of some of the things we took as decisions in the past. And you know, the desires that we had, the actions that we took in the past actually have caused us to be where we are now. And if we want to change that, we can, but then we'll have to also adjust our desires and adjust our actions so that it suits the new situation.
And then in other ways, there's other things, just like a person's essential nature. You can't
absolutely.
You can't really change.
It's their essential nature.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody's essential nature you can't change, or even to a large extent, it's very difficult to change your varna.
Yes.
Your work, you know, your nature as far as work. It's very, 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 very difficult. I mean, it's very difficult. And some people, they're like, I want to be. Some people try and pretend to be something different. But they're never going to feel satisfied.
No, because it's not their nature.
It's not their nature. It's just like some people. For example, if I was to try and be more of a creative person. I have a certain limit of creativity, a certain limit of artwork, a certain limit of certain things. But I can't, if I was to try and, I do what I do best. But if I thought to myself, oh, well, you know, what I do, astrology, that's no good, that's bad, that's boring, that's stupid. I want to do something different.
Because somebody else is successful in something. Now you want to be that person.
Yes, and that's popular, that's popular, that's something.
And then I'll become popular.
Yes, exactly. But then the thing is that I couldn't really dedicate myself to that. It would be a fake thing. It would last for 5-10 years at the most, and then it's finished. and then I'd be lost and most likely insane, you know?
And then you think to yourself that everything else is wrong, and you start blaming other things. And other people,
exactly. But it's just you're not acknowledging
properly situated. You're not properly situated.
Yeah, you're not properly situated, and also you're just not acknowledging the beauty of what you are.
Yeah, every person has amazing greatness in them, and it's just you have to meet the right person and persons to be able to help that become manifest from an unmanifest state to a manifest state, you know?
Right.
It's just like, you know, a match has fire in it, but when you strike the match, the fire comes out, you know?
Right.
So in all of us, we have some innate qualities, some innate greatness that actually we were designed to express that greatness, to express those emotions, etc. But for some reason, we didn't figure it out. So this is why in Eastern philosophy there is this idea of having gurus, because a guru is one who has succeeded on the path and can show you how to become successful. Unfortunately, in this world, most of the gurus are bogus because they're trying to make money from people, they're looking for fame, they're looking for people to become their servants and things like that. And so now people don't have faith in gurus because they're not even true gurus, they're fake gurus. But a real guru is a person who will train you in ways that you will understand your true greatness and do great things, and then you can actually do that for somebody else as well.
Exactly.
A guru is one who trains other gurus.
Right.
But then that's a genuine guru who trains a genuine guru. Right. Nice. That's very good.
So those are the 5 things that I tell people that they need to pay attention and to always remember when you're trying to help other people.
Okay.
Because so many times people come to you in a broken state. And you can't just enter the brokenness. You have to come from a standpoint that's a little higher consciousness.
Right.
So you can kind of drag or raise their consciousness.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So those are 5 things that I always tell people who are going to be tarot card or astrology or anything like that. Any kind of way of serving others. It's important to remember these 5 things.
Nice.
So as far as the intuitive thing is concerned, that's a very important aspect. And I'll get into that.
Right.
One important thing is with the emotions. So the emotions, it's important to become emotionally powerful and also in tune with your emotions.
Right.
Oftentimes I tell people, babies cry, and then 5 minutes later babies laugh.
Yeah.
And the thing is that adults, they don't cry, but they don't laugh. They don't really laugh, not like a baby laughs. You know?
Right.
They have they just, their emotions are so hold back. So the thing is that I have an analogy which I use to compare this, and it's like a river. Emotions that are flowing through you are like a river.
Right.
So it's like kind of like a stream. It's an emotional stream of consciousness or thought, right?
Yes.
So we get these feelings, and the thing is that, you know, life isn't easy. Life is complicated. There's all kinds of horrible things that happen to people. So I'm not surprised. But, you know, so these things happen to people, and the emotion stream, it gets flooded.
Yeah.
There's like
a storm.
There's like a
surge of water.
A surge of water. It's like a storm. And so the waves pick up, you know, and people really don't know what to do when this happens. So a lot of times what people do, and I've done this before as well, because I've been through really heavy emotional things. You build a dam. You build a dam, and it keeps the water from flowing. But you know what? The bad part is you don't feel anymore. You become almost like a zombie.
Really? Huh?
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible. Because you just don't want to, you know, traumatic things. You know, there's very bad things happen to me.
Right.
And especially, you know, so you tend to want to hide them.
Right.
And you just cut off all emotion because you don't want to even face it, you know? So the thing is that, you just stop feeling.
Right.
And the world becomes very cold. And the other thing that happens is a lot of negative outlook on everything.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Everything is just a negative.
Sounds like people become depressed then.
Yeah.
Anxious and depressed.
Anxious, depressed, bitter.
Yeah.
A lot of these emotional, cold,
withdrawn.
A lot of these things stem from these people. They're detaching themselves from their emotions.
Right.
And they build, and the problem though is that what happens when you build a dam in a river? The water gets higher.
Yes.
And guess what? It's a lot harder to control. And eventually little fissures break. And then this is when the people get, they go crazy, get mad, they get violent sometimes.
Wow.
This is when the little holes pop, and then
the dam breaks.
Well, the dam, that's what I call insanity.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
Even before it breaks, the water starts shooting out.
Yeah, little holes pop up in the dam, and so some anger comes out, or some, people start saying crazy things, or having, the world's. I know people that pray for the world to end.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
At least 5.
Wow. At least 5 people that you know. Well,
it's all they can think of.
Wow.
And I mean, if I told you how many times I've seen people say humankind needs to cease existing on Facebook, I'd be a millionaire if I got $5.
Really?
Yeah.
For every time somebody.
Yeah.
Wow.
Human being is trash. Wow. This is little vents of this coming out, because this is insane.
Right.
This is just some aggression.
Yes.
And it comes about because people aren't in tune with their emotions.
Right.
And what it is they're building this dam, and they're scared of the emotions. And then when they come out, it comes out in this very violent way.
Right.
And I've been in this state, and finally I just realized, I purposely broke the dam down in a methodical way. And I let the water flow. I stopped damming the water. You got to stop damming it first. And then I would take down one layer at a time.
And start
letting the water flow.
Out. Yeah.
Letting the water flow. And I would just feel the emotions. I'd remember the incidents, and I would feel the emotions. And it sucks. I mean, there's a reason you don't want to feel the emotions, right?
Absolutely.
There's a reason that you're damming them up.
Right.
But the thing is that the main reason people dam it up is because they're afraid they're going to feel it forever. And this is the illusion part. Because actually, as soon as you feel it fully, it's gone.
Right.
It's like it wasn't there.
Yeah. Actually, when I teach meditation, we show also a method of how to deal with negative emotions like that, so you don't have to feel so much pain when you're letting it go.
Right.
That's nice. That's good.
Yeah. I just feel it, and then it's done.
Nice.
And then it's gone, and it's done with. It's the past.
So people become normal again.
Well, yeah, the water, eventually you get to a nice flowing stream again.
Right.
And that's the natural state to be. And if you let the water flow and you take good care of that little river, that's when you start getting the intuition.
I see. So that's when intuition starts. Okay.
Taking good care of that river, That's another thing that I'm going to do a seminar on, actually, is the sadhana part.
Nice.
The practice part.
Nice.
The things that you can do to kind of get that intuition into a deeper level.
Nice.
And so you can, have that perception.
Right.
And you can get more in tune, and you can learn to be more like a flute.
Right.
The flute is a hollow reed,
right.
And the air blows in, and then it makes the melody.
Nice.
That's the way I try and live my life, really.
Nice.
Is to just be like a flute.
Nice.
And let the message, what's supposed to come out, just come to the people.
Nice. Very good. Yeah. Because in intuition, I also teach intuition. And I teach intuition, what is called counterintuition, and I teach what is called transcendental intuition. So there are 3 levels of intuition, And so in these 3 different levels, how to develop them, how to nurture them, culture them, so that you can rise to the highest level of transcendental intuition. And then what happens is, none of these emotions, negative emotions, ever affect us again. We become so strong that they just don't affect us. Right. No matter how bad it gets outside, there's ways to have internal strength, internal fortitude, that allows us to deal with the situation externally, because internally we're very strong.
Right. No, exactly.
These are things that people.
Once
they learn this, it really helps them.
That's the greatest gift that you could give the world, really.
Right.
So much of the problems that I've seen stem from. These are the core root issues.
Nice.
It's like I say, the technology's improved, but the human being hasn't changed one bit. And it's true.
Yeah.
And we really, there's some basic things that if we just got as a human race, if we just kind of decided to approach certain things on this level, so much good 90% of the problems of the world would just be gone.
Yes, yes. Again, it's like going away from ignorance and towards knowledge.
Right.
Even the Vedas say that.
So what was it?
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaha.
Yeah.
Give up ignorance and take to proper knowledge or correct knowledge.
Exactly.
Like that. Give up darkness, turn to light. Like that. So yes, definitely. That's very good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.